Consciousness, Part 2. Today I wanted to talk about the irreducibility of consciousness and the primacy of consciousness. Now those are two subtle ideas that I think are kind of overlooked, even though they're totally obvious. What do we mean by when we say consciousness is irreducible? Well, simply that consciousness isn't made up of other stuff. It's already somehow rock bottom fundamental. So when we look out at the world and the furniture of reality, we know that it's made up of smaller pieces, atoms being the main ingredient here. But if you get into quantum field theory, it's actually energy momentum fluctuating in fields. Anyways, I may make a video on that later, because that's a little bit closer to consciousness anyways. I don't want to say consciousness is quantum mechanics, although it's field-like. Anyways, so yeah, consciousness isn't made up of anything else. It's already rock bottom. With regards to our presently lived experience, consciousness is ontologically subjective. Now that's just a fancy way of saying that it's personal. You live consciousness in the first person. There's no way to get around this. And it's already rock bottom. It's not a thing. It's not made up of other things. And so what is it? Well, we don't know. Anyways, we think it's a field. I think it's a field. Maybe it isn't. When we say that consciousness is ontologically subjective, we just mean we live it in the first person. And in this way, we can say that it is existentially primary. Existentialism as a philosophy can be summed up by saying existence precedes essence. So what is and how we live precedes essence. So I get in trouble all the time when I go to the dog park and I let my dog off the leash. And I do this because there's no one else around, so I just let him run off or whatever. The last week I almost got a ticket for doing that because the bylaw officers came by, almost gave me a ticket. Because there's rules, right? But that's the essence of the park. There's rules there, but I was living existentially. I was in the moment. There was no cops around, no bylaw people. So I just let my dog off and let him go do his thing. But he's supposed to be on a leash. That's the rule. But existentially, there was nobody around. I just, whatever the rule, who cares? It's a sign. When you come back to it, in reality, it's just a sign with, it has an intended meaning, but you can ignore that meaning and go for the existential reality that you're just in a park with your dog and just ignore that stuff. So anyways, consciousness is lived in the first person, and so we can say it's existentially primary and it's rock bottom base. Second, like we saw last time, it's presupposed in all we do. Philosophers say that it's transcendentally primary too. Now transcendental and transcendent they're similar words and they both share a common meaning, which is basically beyond experience. But transcendent usually is referring to something in future in time, some sort of maybe a liberation, usually a spiritual thing, so it's the transcendent. But transcendental with regards to philosophy can mean something behind you and something that structures your experience, or something that's below or behind, and that out of which gives rise to experience. So Immanuel Kant, he said space and time are what he'd call a priori forms that structure perception. So space and time structure all conscious experience. And I agree with that. Something I agree with. Space and time are the two rock bottom fundamental necessities for experience. If you didn't have space or movement through time, you wouldn't have any sort of experience at all, and you couldn't know anything. But anyways, consciousness, because it's presupposed and underlies kind of everything that humans do, it's transcendentally primary. So consciousness, again, to sum up, is irreducible, existentially primary, transcendentally primary, and assumed in everything. But like I said in the last video, it's like only by being conscious does the universe attain to meaning, just because that's the only way in which it can be known. Now, all conscious experience comes with qualia, or what its likeness. So if you think about eating a peppermint, you know what that's like, or smelling a rose, that's always what it's like. There's always a what it's like. And Thomas Nagel made that sentence famous when he wrote an essay on what it would be like to be a bat, assuming just a sonar-type perception, which would still need space and time. You'd still know the world is space and time, I think, if you were a bat using sonar. Consciousness always has aboutness. So, whereas what it's like is something kind of like in you, its aboutness is always what it's about. So sometimes you could be watching a movie, that's what it's about. You could be, I wonder if I sound really Canadian here when I say about. That's how we say it, by the way. Yeah, it's always about something, whether you're reading a book or making love or having soup or tasting wine or whatever, that's what it's about. Further, this aboutness, always being about something, means that we're missing out on something else. Like, say when you go to watch the movie, or when you do anything, the entire world is going on without any regard for us. Further, consciousness is always experienced as a unified totality. Even though it has you have multiple senses, way more than 5 coming in, so it's always a unified totality. So you're always seeing, feeling, hearing, tasting. All of these are one unified whole experience. And you also have feelings of your body being in space, which is called proprioception. Then you also have an emotional quale to your state of mind. You can have mental imagery and contents of thoughts. So consciousness is always a unified whole, but a curious thing about being willfully thinking beings means we can demarcate these different senses and divide them up, even though these dividing lines are arbitrary and we're making them up by the function of our consciousness. Or we demarcate these on our own through the function of thinking, which really, it's always a unified totality, and only thinking makes it so. So thinking always fragments the world, because we usually think in pictures or language, and language is a fragmentary mode. It's always a digital kind of thing, so each word, I'm going off on the language. Anyway, now although consciousness is always experienced as a unified field full of multiple senses, including emotional quale and mental imagery and all that, we can note 3 modalities to consciousness, which we think of simply as thinking, being, and doing. Thinking, being, and doing always ebb and flow into one another. Feeling, you can think of how your body is a membrane of metamorphosis, and it transforms the world outside of you into an internal world that you're conscious of. So every surface on our body defines a membrane of metamorphosis. Like your eyeballs transmute photons into perception, your ears take sound waves out of the air, turn that into hearing. Your skin is tactioceptive, so it transforms the world of touch into something felt. But feeling is a coming in from without. Then doing is the opposite way. It's from in to out. So doing is basically summed up by the words volition and will. So you can move yourself about, do whatever you want, do a little dance, whatever, but that's will. So feeling is coming in, doing is going out, and then thinking is, and all these things are taking place all at once. They ebb and flow into one another. And thinking is just kind of a background hum that's going on. That you sometimes with thinking it's a bit weird, because I think thinking kind of happens to you sometimes, but other times what makes us truly special is that we can will our thoughts instead of having it go the other way. Like if you've ever tried to meditate, sometimes you don't feel like you're in charge of your thoughts. But we have a unique capacity to turn that around and then purposefully think and conceive things. Like I couldn't have wrote this video without purpose or taking my will into my thinking. So yeah, I think we're pretty special. Consciousness is my favorite thing to think about, because again, I think it's the biggest mystery in the universe. The fact that it's so subtle and underlies everything and it's irreducible. I think it's the most fascinating subject matter, but it's some of the most difficult to kind of wrap your head around, because it's something else. It's really neat. Anyways, obligatory end of video stuff. This one's long. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe. I'm just starting out. Maybe comment, let me know what you think. Let me know what I missed. maybe I'm missing out on some qualities or things about consciousness that I'm unaware of. And subscribe for more content in the future. If you dig this kind of stuff, I know I do, and I'm starting to really enjoy making these videos. So yeah, thanks for watching.